Okay, I think we are live and I will double check. So give me a second, guys, to see what's going on. Yeah, we are live. Now I need to see how I can see y'all. Let's see here. Guys, this is my first time using this software. So I am just, this is like, me just trying it out. So let's see where we're going, guys. So I'm going to give some time for persons to get on. But yes, we are all three available and live. So definitely today, my name is Dr. Ruth Ann out of Freeport, Bahamas, and it's my distinct pleasure to have some phenomenal, I'm talking absolutely amazing ladies with me this afternoon. And both of them are, Caribbean ladies. We're all Caribbean ladies. So I think that's like absolutely cool all on its own. However, we have one that's physically sitting in Trinidad and Tobago, and the other one is physically now sitting in New York. I'm sitting in Freeport, Bahamas. So we're kind of all around the globe. We are here. But we want to just talk about immunity today. We want to talk about the immune system. Everybody is so worried about COVID-19, what it's doing, the pandemic in the world on its own. But we really want to talk and focus on literally how can we really assist our immune system? What can we do? What are the different things? Being from the Caribbean, we all know what, Grammy had us growing up on, whether it was the aloe, the cerasee, the different things. So we all have that. And then there's so many other things that have come on the market to assist with that. But I want to let me formally introduce one of my first guests. This young lady, I met her late last year. I'd heard of her name, but did not know who she was. I physically had the opportunity to meet her in late November. And from there, it was like a sisterhood made in heaven. Like, someone that you meet and you just feel like you're automatically connected to. You don't have to say much, but you're connected. And literally from that point on, I was amazed at the knowledge that this individual has. But she's definitely a life coach. She's an independent business owner. She's a natural health pathologist. She also deals in natural health coaching. Listen, she's strong-minded, strong-willed. She's a phenomenal entrepreneur out of Trinidad and Tobago. My friend, my sister, Rhonda Isaacs. It's a pleasure to have you on. Take the platform. And I have some questions, but you can take it away.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ruth, and it is a pleasure to be here with you. Always so vibrant.
She's a life coach. She's an independent business owner.
And jolly.
She's a natural health pathologist. She also
right.
You're having some feedback. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, it's always a pleasure to be on with you. You're always so vibrant and jolly and full of positive spirit, even though your situations are around you, you don't let the situations be the outcome of who you are or what you are. And that is always a plus, that you can share that positivity and help lift each other's spirit, even in this time where persons are so concerned about all what is going on. They can now still listen in and get a positive upliftment from listening to what you have to offer.
Yeah, I want to ask you, I know in your natural health pathology down in Trinidad and Tobago, there are some things that you offer. And I know most recently we've embarked on a venture together. But what are some of the things that in this time, like, I know we're in a lot of lockdowns, but what are some of the things that you offer to your clients, to your patients? What do you offer and say, well, these are some of the things that need to be done to try and build up that immune system? Because that's what it's about. I mean, whether we like it or not, the Corvid virus attacks those with low immunity. Persons like myself who have lupus, those persons that have cancer, cancer survivors, persons that have just had something going on, whether it's high blood pressure, diabetes. Because what we fail to understand is that low immunity literally means anything that's going on in your system. It doesn't mean that, oh, I feel like I'm healthy, so I'm good. No, if you have high blood pressure, that's low immunity. If you have heart disease, low immunity, diabetes, low immunity, arthritis, low immunity, all these different things that cause our immune system to have to work somewhere else. So even if you have thyroid issues, all these different things, how would you as a natural pathologist say, well, I have something that can assist you, and what would that something be, and what would you be offering them?
Well, before I go into all of that, we need to understand the human body, and understanding that there have been several studies that have pointed to certain key things. And one of those things is identifying that mucus is the baseline behind all diseases, because our bodies, as we burn energy, our bodies let off mucus as a byproduct. And that mucus is the baseline. Whether you have asthma, whether you have high blood pressure, whether you have diabetes, you name it, it's a matter of mucus buildup in some part of the body. Same thing with the COVID-19, it's a matter of mucus buildup. So that is one of the main things we need to understand, that the main problem is mucus or inflammation buildup in the body. And that is the reason why you would find that persons who have underlying issues would find themselves being more exposed to the disease, because they already have that buildup of mucus in the body. So once you start looking at that and understanding the mucus problem, then we can look at removing it. As you know, and you would have seen, and even in me endorsing the product, but not so much endorsing, but in using the product, I was able to personally experience that removal of mucus, because I'm a person who actually loves ice cream. And in the love for ice cream, you find that I end up having sinus issues where I have nasal congestion, I get sinus pressure between the eyes, you name it. And I have been able to use our supplements and get rid of mucus. Now, I have also always had other natural ways of getting rid of mucus, but in using the product, I realized that those ways still was not as effective as using the supplements.
I know that you always said that even when starting the system that we'll talk about shortly, I know you mentioned, because I've been to natural pathologists, I've been to the natural doctors, and when you come out, you literally have a case of natural medicine to take. And I've personally been there. I've been where I have to literally take 20 drops of this underneath the tongue. Got to wait 10 minutes before you take the other 10 drops. Then, then an hour later, make sure to take the other 10 drops. And you better take the other 10 drops an hour later. And make sure before you go to bed, you got another 24 drops to do. 10 minutes in between each one. You can't do them together. Like, it was crazy, insane. And I was like, okay, I know this is all natural, but I feel like I'm going crazy here. So how would you say, because I know when you met up with the system that we will speak of, I know that's what impressed you the most, the fact that it was not a multitude of things. What caught your interest? Like, why would someone like you, who already had a very lucrative business and practice, turn to this and be like, you know what, this is something that I need to look into. This is something that I need to share with my people. Like, why would you do that?
Well, first is because of what I want for the customers. What I want for my customers and people around me is good health. And not just good health, but when they use stuff, they must get results. And that is one of the things, because you would find that there are a lot of people practicing in the industry, but they're just at it to make money. And for me, if persons are not seeing results in their health, then you're running at a loss. Because for me personally, that was part of my issue, having health issues and not getting answers to get results. And this is what you want to be able to do, get results. So in using different supplements prior, I realized, okay, yes, in order to get proper results, and when you use some of these supplements, you are talking about drops, but some of them are in tablet form. Some of them you have to use three times a day. And you would find that persons feel burdened as if they're still going to the doctor. However, even though the stuff is all natural, but the aim is really to get the results. And if it is that you can get the results naturally without damaging the body, that was my focus. Being able to come across a line of supplements that has now been able to encompass everything into 4 supplements, that's a major game changer. And that is what attracted me to this company.
Wow. So like I know in Trinidad and Tobago, how is the supplements that we will speak of, and like I'm telling the person we're not going there yet, but the supplements that we're going to speak of, how has it been? How have you found it in Tobago? Have they accepted it? Is it something that persons have been able to use and see successfully? Are there any testimonies that you can speak to about these products? And I know you personally traveled from New York and Trinidad at a time when you shouldn't have been traveling, but had to get back home. And I know you were experiencing some symptoms. How did that go, and what did you use to get back to where you are now?
Well, the supplements have been well received, and that is a simple case because there are many persons using a lot of medications, looking for answers, and not really able to get the answers that they're looking for. They're not feeling the results. The medications damage your body, they cause further side effects. And therefore, you find people want to feel well, people want to see results, people want to be able to get the benefit that they're looking for out there. So that is part of what you find happening. And yes, I had the situation where I had to travel because for me, if I have to be on lockdown, then there is no place like home. And this is what you find that happened. Our country was actually locking down, and I did not want to be locked outside of our country. So I did come home. I was experiencing some symptoms, but again, the supplements, because of their focus of cleaning the body and building the immune system, you find that it was able to now balance me off and get rid of the symptoms as I used it.
So, I know you have a particular verbiage that you call these supplements, other than what they're called, but I know it's called intelligent nutrition, but you no, sorry, it's called intelligent force, but you call it intelligent nutrition.
Yes.
So why do you feel comfortable using those words, intelligent nutrition? Like how does that work? Like in your mind, when you say intelligent nutrition, what are you thinking of? And why are you comfortable saying, okay, you know what, I have something that I consider has intelligent nutrition, and what does that mean?
Right. Now, that is basically because of what it has, how it was created. It was created using nanotechnology, right? And if you look on the market, you would not really find other supplements created in that format that they are able to use the technology to bring about the supplements. And this company has actually taken the time to do just that. But apart from it, as I highlighted to you, to get the results that you can get from these supplements, you would actually have to use many different supplements to get back to this point. Whereas they have been able to study the body, talking about 40 years of research, and put in that time that now, with these four supplements, the delivery that you get within that time frame is nothing short of amazing. And it is just that intelligent nutrition. When you have something that can clean your cells, yet nourish your cells, repair your cells, and do all of this at a cellular level. And in doing it, it is able to pinpoint whatever issues you have going on in your body. It is able to pinpoint issues that you may not even be aware of. It is able to pinpoint things that you may not be paying attention to, but you are now able to see the results as you use the supplement. And this is where you are seeing it working intelligently in your body.
Yeah, that's what I've always like from the onset of me taking the products. That's what I noticed. Like it literally. I always tell people it's like a clipboard. It goes in there and literally starts writing down. Okay, this is what's wrong. This is what's wrong. Let's do this first, and then it like back traces. So it starts going. Okay, this needs to be done first because I got to make sure this is happening, and then this needs to be done. And so literally, it starts going backwards through everything, and that's what amazes me. Like that is literally the intelligent force because you actually having a product that knows what's going on in your body, can target what's going on in your body and start reversing it. And, as we always like to make sure persons are aware, we're not saying we have a miracle drug. We're not saying we have a miracle product. We are saying that we have a product that can assist your body getting to where it needs to be in order to do what the body was created to do. And I know, Queen Rhonda, you always have a saying, if you didn't have to cut to put it in, you shouldn't have to cut to take it out. And I think that is a phenomenal segue for me to introduce my other speaker, my next speaker. This lady is an absolutely a joy to be around. I love to hear her voice when she sings, so I hope she throws a little note for us today. She is absolutely amazing. She always makes me smile when I hear her voice. Listen, she is a minister of the gospel. She is a life coach, a wellness advisor, and a fantastic entrepreneur. I hope she shares her story about from a young age where she started her entrepreneurship, and like she says, with hardly anything. And so without further ado, I want to bring to the line my friend, my compadre, Giselle Johnny. Are you there?
Hi, guys. Hi. I feel so happy and honored to be in the presence of the both of you because you both are, from the same, just like you were saying, from the first moment I met Rhonda, that was back in 2014, something happened like click, 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 just like that. And we just built a friendship over the years. And even having met you, it's like birds of a feather flock together. Let me just say that, right? People who just journey, who just never lose their joy, who just never give up and just keep going, and it's amazing to be in the presence of the both of you and us even realizing and being on this journey together. For me, talking a little bit about that entrepreneurship thing, it was a conversation when I was 10. I overheard my parents saying, what are we going to do? My dad got a pay cut and, how are we going to see about these 5 kids? And so I was thinking, and he was saying it doesn't even have enough food until I get my next paycheck. And so I was thinking, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And so I got up and I told my brother what had happened. So I was 10, he was 9. We went and we found a little, those condensed milk tins. We found a fudge recipe on it and we said, let's make fudge. And so we got some little bags and we started making the fudge. And then we started taking like a toothpick, twirling it around, playing with it, mixing the chocolate and the caramel, mixing all different things. And we were tying it in bags. And then we said, okay, now we got to let everybody know that we have fudge. So then he went all around and let everybody know my sister and I are making fudge. And so we got a little, it's like a little can, those Cricks cans. And so when we started selling the fudge, we were amazed that adults, pregnant women, a lot of people were buying our fudge. And we were starting to, at the end of the day, we would put the money in this little Cricks can and we would just, at the end of the day, start throwing it up in the air and saying, wow, we're rich. You can buy chicken, you can buy rice. I mean, it sounds silly now, but it was such a joy that I felt from that age, I recognized that there's a lot of money out there and we just have something inside of us that we can do to get the money to us. And so that was an awakening for me. Jumping ahead, when I was 22 years old, I was in a relationship. I was actually married at 19. So at 22, my ex-husband got into drugs and all of that. And there was a lot of embarrassment, shame. I was pregnant. And that time, it wasn't at 10 years, I realized it was with $10. I found $10 and I was able to start doing a little, like those little mangoes. Anybody in the Caribbean knows about that, and so then I realized that this was something that you needed to pay attention to. And when I met Rhonda, jumping ahead, I was doing a business that I had created, making juices and jams and jellies and all of that. But she tried warning me because I worked really, really hard from sun up to sundown. And she could have tell that something was wrong with me. Like she said, you need to check yourself. She started, it's like it was divine intervention that this woman just came like an angel and she just started warning me. But I didn't take her advice, and it was only until she did a test on me, she started realizing a lot of things was broken down in my body. But I didn't believe her because I had no symptoms. I'm just going to stop right there. And I just went ahead running myself to the ground. I'm just going to stop right there for now, So I don't know if you have any other questions to me, but this is how our journey began, basically with myself and her. The warning. She's like the red lights.
Well, I do have a question. As you said, you got tested from a natural pathologist,
Mm-hmm.
and she warned you because I've been there. I have been in those exact shoes when they warn you. And literally, like yourself, I've been that entrepreneur. I've been that one that's hustling. I'm on the grind, and I'm not, you can't stop me. Once I'm out there, you ain't stopping me talking about, oh, my foot hurt or my back hurt or the itch on my back or the strip in my eye, and oh, you need whatever. Okay, thanks. Appreciate you. Love you too. So in that warning, you just kept going.
That's
So
right.
what happened? Like, why, like, when did it come to the point where you were like, ah, brakes failed, can't go no more? It's like, God is like, Giselle, hello, talking to you. It's gone over here. When did that happen? When was that moment for you?
All right. Well, I think she was my final warning, to be quite honest, because it was like since in my 20s, people would keep warning me, you cannot work from 10 a.m. to 1 a.m. It's not right. It's not human. And I didn't believe it. I said, you know what? I have a strong mind and I'm young and I have age on my side. But when she came into my life at 2014, in 2016, she did a test on me and another really good friend of mine. And it showed that both of our bodies were broken down. It was a comprehensive test that she did that could read everything going inside of the body. And I felt that was a non-invasive test. How could that be true? How could something that takes a few minutes say everything that's happening on the inside? So when she explained to me that I had thyroid problems, a weakened heart muscle, some things happening like fibroids or some type of I didn't believe any of those things. However, in 2016, 2 years after that, I started showing signs. I started showing signs 2 years after that. So it started out with the 4 large fibroids, and I started bleeding out to the point where I had to be on a bed. I had to be in diapers because all I could do with my life was go to the bathroom. And she had identified that I had a weakened heart muscle. The left ventricle was weak, but I was born with a heart problem with a hole, and so I guess doing all of that compounded that I had chronic anemia, and then I later developed something celiac disease, and then everything just started going all the way downhill. Then I found out autoimmune disease, and then I was rushed to the emergency. Then I found out I had a large thyroid goiter blocking the oxygen from going to my brain. So that was 2017. So I was in New York at the time, and back and forth, back and forth. And by the time last year, 2019, July, this is where things got really, really bad. I had developed a blood clot in 2012 when I was having my son from being on bed rest, but in 2019 it returned. And so I was in the hospital. They were saying things were critical. They didn't seem to know what to do to fix stuff because everything was going wrong. I had lost 60% of my hearing 6 months prior. I'd spent 6 months not being able to hear a conversation unless somebody shouted, and I was whispering and thinking that I'm talking, and people around me would be laughing because I really couldn't hear anything. So I didn't know if I was whispering or if I was talking, and that went on for 6 months. But in July, there in the hospital bed, I would be so honest with you, ladies. I was still doing an assignment with the drips in my hand, with them giving me everything. I was still trying to complete an assignment to send in, not realizing that at some point you need to stop and begin to take care of yourself. So one day I just messaged Queen Rhonda. I said, look, if I die, because this looked really, really, really bad, I wasn't afraid to die, but the oxygen was leaving. My blood was becoming so deoxygenated. I could feel my cells shutting down. I could feel like I'm struggling to get oxygen. I would faint every day during that time. I had to walk with assistance. And so I said, let me just call her and let her know that I'm not well. Just in case I die, it won't be a surprise. So that was my thought, because I'd never listened to her one single day in terms of her trying to warn me to take supplements, to do something to help my body. So I said, this is my good friend. Let me just send her a message. I'm in hospital. So if I don't make it, at least she wouldn't be surprised. And that was my thought. And the next day, she showed up in the hospital. And within a few days, I checked out of the hospital. And within 9 days, I'm telling you, Dr. Rutan, this amazing woman took me into her own private home, her own private practice, and began working on me with her own medicine, her own stuff. In 9 days, I'm saying what I hadn't been able to accomplish 2017, 2018, 2019. In 9 days, I started, it was like a reboot because it's 9.
Wow.
I could feel the difference in my body. I had energies, a few detox. She used things like foot detox. She started cleansing the organs, and I could feel my life coming back. And let me just stop there again. I don't know.
No, okay. So then when that happened, because I know if it was natural medicine, you had like maybe 10, maybe 50.
Oh, Dr. Ruth, and I wish it was 10. So
Because I
one
know
of the
how
things.
it is. It gets a little crazy there. It's like, oh my God. So I can
Oh
imagine
my
that
God.
it was a tedious ordeal, but it works. I have to, because it works. But let's jump forward to where are you now? Like what has transpired now with the products that Queen Rhonda that we haven't spoken about yet, but that she mentioned, the
All right.
intelligent nutrition. Jumping to that, how did that look?
All right. To jump to that, I must tell you this. She would wake me up in the morning over those 9 days and have a table full of stuff. And it was like, I am really, I can be really rebellious. And she's like, come on, you got to take this. You got to take this. So many drops of this, half of this. You got to take these pills. I'm like, OMG, what is this? By the time she was finished with me, I left with like 24 different bottles of drops and stuff that I had to take, some of them 3 times a day. And that for me felt like I was wasting my day, my time. It felt like my room smelled like, even though it's natural supplements, it smelled to me like medicine. And I felt, oh, I'm a sick person. You know what I mean? And so for me, the challenge was 2 challenges. One, I knew it was working, but it was working slow. I think if she hadn't detoxed me, it would not have worked so fast. So I think it was still working fast, but too slow for me to get back to life. And then the second thing was the pain of having to be taking all of these things all the time. And so when she called me in November and said, I have found something, that's all I heard in the conversation. I tell you the next part I heard, if you come to Florida with me, you will come off all these stuff and you'll only be taking 4 things. That's all I heard in the conversation. And I knew I had to get to Florida because it meant I would get my life back. And I trust her because she proved it to me over time that she cared. There's so many times she would just give me a supplement, give me something, and I would say, I can't take that, it's making me sleep. And she'd say, it's because your body needs rest, you know? So I had learned to trust her. And so, long story short, when we got to Florida, we were in this meeting, and the people that we were there with, they were explaining the supplements, how they work, and all of that. And while I'm taking it in, a glass is passed around with one of the products, and I have the glass of it. I think it's probably half glass, and within about, in my mind, 15 minutes, I started feeling oxygen coming to my brain. Because I can tell you, one of the things I had experienced was everything falling out of my hands. My motor skills were going. My head, I always had a headache and felt like there was gunk inside of my head. I don't know how to explain. The brain fog, all of that. And I felt this clarity. The headache left, and I started feeling like little things moving on the inside, like my blood was beginning to, I would say, boil. Internally, there was a new energy coming, like a fire. That's how I felt. I didn't know anything about any circulation or anything. I'm just going to tell you what I was experiencing. So I turned to her and I said, Rhonda, what's this? And she was like, I'll tell you. Rhonda, what's this? Rhonda, what's this? And so that's how my journey began. And within a week after that, I started eating almost things that I couldn't touch for like 3 years without having allergies and joint pains and mucus running out. And that's where that caught my attention to, like, whatever is this Rhonda brought me into, I'm going to be a part of it. That's how that happened.
Well, it's so funny because that sounds like how because like at first I wasn't going to no meeting. I was done. Like network marketing and me, I could have, like, if I could have walked, I was gonna run. Like that's how it was. And I'll never forget that first cup, just like you, that same first cup, because I think I had 2 cups of the tall, the plastic cup that they were passing around. And I remember that evening going back to our friend's house, and Rhonda again was doing the test. She was doing a natural test on me. And I just remember turning to her and saying, Rhonda, my fingertips are tingling of an arm that had been numb for over a year. Like, I think it was like nearly going on 2 years that this arm had been numb. And I was like, Rhonda, is there even a possibility that I could feel a tingling in my right arm? And I remember because it was like my fingers started tingling, like literally I could feel it at the fingertips. And she looked at me and she said, well, if it does what it says it's supposed to do, yes, you're supposed to be feeling the tingling in your fingers. And I was like, but Rhonda, we just tried that. Like less than 4 hours. So what do you mean? It's somehow like this ain't making no sense to me. That's the part that like really got me, because I'm a believer of anything that I do, no matter what it is. I am the guinea pig. I am the person that's going to try it. I have to see the benefit in it. I have to see that it works before I even dare tell anybody, oh, try this for me. Because I don't believe in just sample things out to people and you haven't even tried it. And so I had that same experience in Giselle, where it was literally within a week of taking, I think at that time it was just the Balage and the Canoe. I hadn't even started on the Inner Seven. Yes, I'm calling the names now, guys. And when I started, I remember that first week, I literally felt that same energy that you're talking about, that boiling in the blood. Like it just was like this, woof. And I was like, hold on. Did I just get energy back in my legs? Because my legs had literally become like Play-Doh. It was like just like I can't even explain it. And like you say, I was mentioning to somebody that has multiple sclerosis the other day, and I was describing the feeling that I had. And it was like, he says to me, he goes, oh my God, you know exactly where I'm coming from. And because I was explaining to him how I even felt like every layer of my core is coming back together. Because I know this is going to sound insane, but at one point, I think it would have been back in 2016, before my coma, I used to be able to feel my bladder. I could tell you when my bladder was full. Like the layers in my stomach, there was none. It was like I just was a gush. And so I could feel my bladder and I could push on it, and I could actually allow myself to pee by pushing on my bladder. Like I knew the parts of my organs in my body. Now my core is getting stronger. I can't even find my bladder anymore. Like it's thickened. Like all the layers have come back together. Like I know this isn't going to make sense to people, and people will be like, okay, yeah, Ruth-Ann, no, y'all ain't understand. But when I was speaking to the guy with MS, he was like, you understand what I'm talking about? He says, yes, I have that same feeling where it feels like my stomach layers and there's nothing, it's mush. And I was like, sir, all I can tell you, I can't say that there's some miracle in these products. All I know, it's fermented olive leaves and fermented rosemary and spirulina and stuff and turmeric. I said, but whatever they did to it, it's magic, because it's amazing, And so Queen Rhonda, like, how, from a natural perspective, how do you explain that? Like, I mean, you're just sitting there smirking, like, yeah, I know what's going to happen. Giselle, like, but like, how do you explain stuff like that? Because, I mean, to me, I don't think people are going to really believe or truly understand what we're talking about really until you try it. But I mean, I've seen like persons that have taken the product for like less than a month who had holes in the bottom of their foot all the way to their bone. And they'd been packing it with like greens and all sorts of things for years, suffering with fevers, like horrible sweats, colds, could not get rid of this hole. Took the product for less than a month and the hole closed up. How? Yeah. Like, how do you explain this?
Well, I have to start by thanking God for the understanding of the human body. Unfortunately, we try to deal with everything external. However, you must also deal with the internal. And in the aspect of someone developing a hole in their foot, is one of the major causes is because of lack of circulation, where they got damaged by something, but because the blood flow is not happening, you find that the repair process does not happen. Understanding that God gave us an amazing body. Our body has the ability to heal itself. Our cells shed and repair every single day. So when you find someone's foot not healing, it's because the repair process is not happening. So with this product being on the market, we have seen products that help to increase circulation. However, this supplement increases microcirculation, which means it is able to get into the finer parts of your body and really deliver the blood into all of the cells the blood carries oxygen, the blood carries nutrition. So you are now able to feed the parts of your body so that your body can now rebuild and repair itself as you go along.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So literally, so what's so really amazing to me about the product, like I think Giselle mentioned, and you've even mentioned, like it finds what's really going on with you. So
Mhm.
it's, the intelligent nutrition part of it is that it looks for your body. Because yes, we all have the same body that God created, but all of us have different issues. Yet these products can target your issue and it knows your issue. It doesn't know, it doesn't take Giselle's issue and then put it in Ruth Ann's issue and then puts it in Rhonda's issue. It literally deals with the issues that's going on in your body at hand and literally targets that and then reverses, recovers, and restores what's going on. And it works 100% of the time on 100% of the people, which we've found. Like, even I remember a lady said to me one day, she said, "Oh, I don't think these products are working for me." And so I just let it go. I didn't say anything. And literally within the next second of that same sentence, she then said, "But curious, does this product help with mucus? Because I noticed since I stopped it, I have more mucus again." I was like, yeah, it actually does, And so it was amazing how in one breath she said it didn't work, and then in the next breath she'd already run out of the product and was like, "Okay, I've noticed this is happening again." And so somebody also asked me, and I think Rhonda, you would probably be the best to answer this. They said, "Well, Ruth Ann, how long do I have to be on these products?" Now, my answer, and maybe I'm wrong or maybe I'm correct, I'm not sure. I answered and I said, well, one, how long did it take for your body to get this way? That was my first question. And then my second answer was, well, as long as you're not willing to change anything in your the way you eat, your diet, what you're doing to your body, then maybe you're going to have to be on this longer than you think. How would you respond to that, Rhonda?
Well, the old people would say don't answer a question with a question, but this is where I answer a question with a question. And my answer or my question to persons is, how long do you want to live? Or how long do you want to live with good health, disease free? Because we need to understand that our diets are lacking. It doesn't matter, because I'm certain in both of your cases, you all would have changed your diets over the years, where you have plenty more fruits and vegetables, you're eating right, more fiber, and no matter what you change, you find that your problem still exists. And that is because we are missing stuff in our nutritional system, along with the fact that from the minute you get sick and you go to the hospital, the first thing you are given is antibiotics. And antibiotics adds to your problems by first damaging your body, by removing the good bacteria from your gut. So these are the things that add in and compound. And just to highlight something that was said by Dr. Edias, which is the guy who created the supplements, you were saying that the supplements are doing all of these things. But what the supplement is actually doing is just feeding your body. And with the aspect of feeding your body and giving your body what it needs, your body, once again, is able to activate that intelligent force, because our bodies was designed by God to know what to get rid of and what to keep. So once it's given the right stuff, then your body can now do what it was designed to do originally. And that is what happens. So now, as we are able to give it the supplement, we can see for ourselves now that our body starts activating the intelligent force. It starts doing what it was designed to do originally.
I know one of the things that I also heard, I think it was one of the doctors in our company in Sankey Global, he had said that, and he's a gastroenterologist, and his amazement was the fact that it could actually pass through the gastric acid. And that was where his amazement came. And he's personally, him and his wife, I know they're inventors as well. But I know that was his amazement of how, like you say, it's nanoparticle size, but also how it could actually pass through that gastric acid and still get through and do what it needs to do, and also assist in getting into that gut and making sure that the formulation in the gut is correct, because we don't realize how important the gut is. A lot of persons, I think our natural medical doctor also mentioned how with persons that have Alzheimer's, persons that even have anxiety and depression, it has to do with your gut. And I don't think we realize how connected, this is with this, or even this is with this, because we don't realize what we're putting in has to do with this, then it has to do with our stomach. And so I just enjoy the fact that, we can take this system of 4 products and actually change like immensely everything that's going in our body. And I don't think people understand how important that is. And also how you can build your immunity. I know, Giselle, you yourself, went through something a few weeks ago, and you watched as the system that you have started to believe in literally exploded. Can you share that with us?
Yes, Dr. Ratan. So, as you were saying, it's all about immunity, because I am in a house and there are other people here, and my husband never had any problems. My 7-year-old son had no problems. And I've been inside since they were saying stay inside. And just like that, one day I started feeling, the raspiness in my throat. By the following day, there was a lot of pain there. Um, and then by the following day, there was all of this discomfort in terms of this cough that would not stop, and then some chest pains. Then I realized I couldn't smell anything, I couldn't taste anything, and the cough became so terrible. Um, but then the chest area, you started feeling like to take one breath, you had to sum up all of the energy in your entire body just to take a breath. And if you just did one thing, like open the fridge and took something out, you needed to sit down. Everything you do, you just need to sit down because you're extremely, extremely exhausted. You're so tired. And so the breathing distress got worse and worse. The cough got worse and worse. And so I reached out, simply because I didn't want anyone to ask me to talk or to do anything, and just told a couple people, Rhonda being one, that I'm coughing a lot. I didn't want to alarm anyone. I didn't want to say, oh, I have coronavirus. I don't want to do anything like that. But I started getting scared because it started getting worse. And then, to be really open and plain, because it's happening to people, I started seeing diarrhea. Then I started seeing blood in my stools, a lot of it. And so I started feeling like an internal fever, like this temperature. And I said, wow. So then both Queen Rhonda and the other person that I messaged said to me, take the Cranui, the Balaji in a 7 and have it in hot water. And I was having the products the way we were told to have it, the regular way, 1 in the morning, 1 in the night. But I realized, and this was like by day 4, when I started doing that, it was like 5 days after, when I started combining them, 5 days after, every single symptom left, including the scent coming back. I mean, something can be burning and you're not smelling it. You're trying to eat anything and there's no appetite, there's no taste. I mean, I started doing some mashed potatoes with salt, and that's the only thing I was trying to do, keeping me, because you can't taste an orange, you can't even taste a lemon. There's no taste, there's no smell, and the blood, the amount of blood, it was really scary. And so in 5 days, I was just doing the Cranui, the Balaji, and the 7, and just going over the hot water and with a towel, and that's it. And in 5 days, all of the symptoms totally, totally left. But I just wanted to say this: I did an online assessment that the medical doctors and they sent in. And so when I did that assessment, it came back saying this is confirmed COVID symptoms, right? So it was confirmed that all of the symptoms that I was having, and they said if I can't breathe at all, that's the only time to come to the doctors, because the hospitals were so filled. It's only if I can't breathe at all without assistance I could come. So I knew I had to get through this on my own. There was no way you could go to a hospital to get assistance. And being in New York, the epicenter of everything, I have friends who are nurses. They're saying the hospital is just smelling of death. People, when they come, most of them, they're not coming back. And that's the truth. They are just dying. I have nurses crying at nights because they're just looking at them on the ventilator. They go for lunch, they come back. He's dead. She's dead. And that's what's happening. So it was really bad. And I just want to warn people, let's look at our immune system. Your body is worth gold. It's not about saying they're trying to sell me something. We don't care to sell you anything. We give it to you free if you want.
Thank you.
Because if you value your life, you're going to try to build your immune system. And I'm just grateful. Thank you, Queen Rhonda, for all of what God has used you to do. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm just grateful to have something that I can tell people, look, this is what I did, and they'll really get the results.
Yeah, and see that's the part that I am hoping that we're getting across, because I hate persons saying, "Oh, Ruthann, I ain't trying to sell you nothing." Listen, if you want a free sample of what we have, send it in the WhatsApp, send it in this chat in the Facebook live stream, and we will get the links to you. Queen, Rhonda Isaacs, she's on Facebook. Giselle Johnny, she's on Facebook. You can hit these persons up. You can tell them you want a free sample. They will send you the link. You can get free samples. Did you hear me? Free. Yes, I said free. FREE. We ain't want your money. Did you hear me? I want your money. No, because no, Giselle, you're true. People, you think I don't want your money. We are literally talking about your immune system. We are talking about something that right now is vital. I remember there was a time people could not pass the threshold of my door. If you sneezed, and this is before Corvid, if you sneezed, if you had a drizzle of a nose that I felt that you might have had a cold, you weren't allowed in my bedroom, onto my private island, period. Why? I have an autoimmune. Okay, my immune system is already compromised. I take Celsep. I take 1,000 milligrams of that twice a day. So that's pushing my immune system down to flatline. So if something comes in here and you just breathe on me too hard, I got it. You understand? So I was very particular before this. But since I've been taking this, I've noticed I'm not susceptible. Like my grandbaby has had a flu.
Yes.
My son has had a severe flu at the beginning of March,
Yes.
to the point where his chest was bothering him. And usually, listen, guys, that to me is ammonia happening. Because he was like, Mommy, it was 3 days in, his chest was burning, the cough was awful that he had. He could hardly sleep at night. And I remember my other friend, she was like, we did the same thing. That's where when Dr. Helen called me, I said, Dr. Helen, tell her hot water, Balaj Canoe in a 7, because my nurse friend in Nassau had said, Ruthann, we have to take this stuff hot. Because she gave it to my son. She said, Raina needs to take it, and he needs to take it now. Guys, within 30 minutes, he was like, oh, Mommy, I have energy. I said, well, you have energy, now go to bed, because it was 10. I was like, you ain't staying up. It's time to go to bed. And within 2 days, he was able to go back to school. But for 4.5 days, he was like, I'm talking hacking cough. And because of the whole, Dorian thing, he was like 2 feet away from me. Usually, guys, I would have been out. I'm asthmatic and I have an autoimmune. So that compromise right there means when I start, it doesn't stop. It does not stop. It just gets worse and worse. And since this, I take my products every day. Yesterday, we were on a training, and one of the young ladies on there said she had been working in the yard. You're home, you ain't got nothing to do. So she was in the yard for 4 days, and she said she was fine. And then all of a sudden, on the 5th day, her back gave out. It was as if someone had licked her. Like, when you do keep going, your adrenaline pumping. And she said that 5th day, she was out. Her back felt like she couldn't walk. She felt like her legs had gone numb, all sorts of things. And she was like, God, this is not how it's going to be. You can't suddenly put me down. You can take anything from me, but not my legs, not my movement, not my mobility. She said she had heard how Dr. Atias said you could take up to 6 packets a day. She went for the 6 packs a day. Within 2 days, she said immediately she took the 3 packs, and she took 3 packs again before she went to bed. And the following day, she was fine. The products work. Like you say, it's cellular nutrition. It gets in immediately. So I will say it again. I don't want to sell you nothing. Rhonda ain't want to sell you nothing. Giselle don't want to sell you nothing. All we're saying is try it for yourself. And you can do that for free. That isn't going to cost you anything. You can do that for free. So you can get on board with any one of us. The choice is yours. And we will send you the link that you can try the product for free. You can get a 12-day supply for free. FREE. I'll repeat it, free. So guys, on closing, I know we've been on for over 45 minutes, but it's been an absolute pleasure and honor to be on here.
Dr. Ruthann.
Yes, I want you to closing statements. Go ahead.
That is one of the things that I always look at, Unfortunately, people are willing to spend money for everything else except their health. people are willing to pay for the most frivolous things. And then when it comes to their health, it's always too expensive. Christmas comes, they buy a whole lot of stuff, carnival, different events. If there's a wedding coming up, they buy the most expensive dress. But then when it comes to their health, it is the thing that they neglect the most. And I was looking at a video by Steve Jobs, um, a couple like last week or somewhere there. And that's one of the things he highlighted, that, you know, he would have put in all that time into his business. He became very successful. Unfortunately, along the way, your time with your family tend to suffer. But he also highlighted that he could pay for drivers to drive his car. He can pay for plane ride to anywhere. You can pay money for anything you want, but you can't pay someone to lie in your hospital bed. That you would have to face on your own. And if you really understand it, you would invest a little along the way into your health to preserve your health, to avoid going to the doctors or lying on the hospital bed. So really, that was a touching story for me.
Yeah, when I heard, my mom has told me that one before, and I think that is so true because, and people don't understand, health is one of those things that when it happens, sometimes we're not prepared for it, and two, you definitely don't want to go through it. You don't. You don't. And like for me, I've been like this for going on 5 years, and persons are like, Ruthann, how do you do it? And I only do it because of God. You know, he sustains me. He gives me life. He's the person that gives me my strength on a daily basis. That's the person I turn to. I don't turn to man. I don't turn to anybody in my home. I turn to him. You know, every morning I'm grateful and thankful that I'm awake, that he actually opened my eyes. And after that, you know, it's who can I serve and how can I serve them? So when, for me personally, this is a mission to help persons. You know, if I can see the benefits of it, I just pray and hope that others can too, and it's not too late for them. And in our country, I know, and I know in the Caribbean, Rhonda and Giselle, you both know, our countries are very sick. You know, the way we eat is horrible. I mean, you think Americans are bad, but no, we are bad because we just love to eat. It's another thing to eat fast food, but another thing just to eat. We just love to eat. And I'm not going to eat because I like to eat too. However, now at least I have something that can maintain it, that assists it, that, you know, garnishes the sugars and the fats and the carbs in the evening, if need be, that assists. You know, we even have that Hasaki, and Rhonda, because of you, I was able to actually, you know, get my bowels functioning correctly, because at first I wasn't taking the whole system. And after speaking to you, you're like, why aren't you? You know, and there was really no excuse, only because I didn't like vanilla. And you were like, add chocolate to it, add something. And when I started taking it, guys, it was amazing because my bowels started coming frequent. And because with the disability or ability that I have, because I hate the word disability, I have literally, I am incontinent. You know, the bowels sometimes can go 2 and 3 days, you know, nothing. So it builds up in your stomach and it hardens. You can feel it in your stomach. And so even when like I said, my car used to be very mushy, I could feel it. I can literally massage the feces out of me. Like, I know that sounds insane, but literally I could feel it in my intestines, and I literally could rub my intestines down until it got where it needed to go. And now when I take it, it's regular. Like, if there is no needing for that, it comes on a regular basis. And I know maybe that's TMI for some, but a lot of people suffer with these things and don't talk about it. Especially we as women, we ain't talking about I got into the bathroom and I can't go to we don't want to talk about it. But Queen Giselle, I want to say, is there any closing words that you'd like to share with our audience?
Oh my, I just want to say on what you were saying, this is the first time in my entire life I'm going to the bathroom 3 times. As a child, I had a very flat stomach, and at times, like if I didn't go for the week, it would just swell all the way up. And my teacher would call my mom, and they would give me hot olive oil. They would do all of these stuff, and I had suffered with this my whole life. And so I think a lot of the crap that goes on in our brain happens because there's too much crap in our body. And so I'm grateful in closing that I have better sleep because suffering from insomnia. I have better sleep from thyroid, no energy. I have more energy. I am just grateful that even my son, this is his first winter with no pumps, no asthma pumps, no medications. I'm just grateful. And I'm going to close off by telling you this little song. It goes like this. Nobody's going to cramp my style. Nobody's going to slow me down. Oh no, because Sankey's got me moving. So that for me, I'm happy to have great, great people like you guys in my life. And I'm happy that I have been exposed and I'm on a journey to just share the information because we can just share it. That's the most we can do is give the information and hopefully someone's life will be changed. Thank you so much.
I want to say thank you so much, Rhonda Isaacs, all the way from Trinidad and Tobago, Queen Giselle Johnny from New York, by way of Trinidad and Tobago, and I'm your host, Dr. Ruth Ann Newton Lightburn, all the way from Freeport, Bahamas, your servant leader. We appreciate you coming on, so thank you so much and have a great afternoon. Bye-bye, my friend.
Bye.
Bye.